Hi, and welcome to another tip to use as you return to your singing practice or any time that you want a little inspiration to bring in to your warm-up routine. I'm always talking with my students about having a goal in mind as we warm up our voices and do technique work versus an approach where we're doing, X number of repetitions of this exercise up and down by half steps and sort of zoning out, which doesn't teach us much, right? So the basic goal of a warm-up might be to, stretch the voice up and down before we jump into the traditional challenging repertoire. That's fine, that's an okay goal, but we can take it up a notch if we are really mindful about what we want to achieve in a warm-up. And if you're coming back to singing after a bit of time away or after your practice has been disrupted, then a really wonderful goal is the goal of ease, the goal of freedom. Even having that in your mind and aiming for that as a target can transform your warm-up. And I'm gonna use the tool of a sigh or a sort of flowy slide, however you like to think about it, as a cue to help our bodies find that ease in singing. So this is a nicely supported sigh, not overly breathy, and it goes like this. Ah. I like to use an arm gesture because it's a really wonderful physical metaphor for freedom and ease as well, so you can try that out. Ah. And then it's really wonderful to start to pitch that like a fifth. Ah, like a slide, and then move into an arpeggio. Ah, and you can take that down by half steps or up by half steps. Ah, ah. And you can always pause and touch base with that initial sort of sigh slide feeling that doesn't have specific pitch. Ah, where we're not thinking about aligning it to a certain pitch set. And so this goal in mind is sort of, dear body, remember that feeling of ease, of letting air go, of having a nice, clean, easy, comfortable sound. Remember that feeling that we get even from the gesture, which is a beautiful physical metaphor for movement and letting go. It moves in front of us, which is exactly where we are exhaling our air as well as outside of us, right? Dear body, I'd like to take that feeling and I'd like to map it onto my singing and start to map it onto pitches that are similar, right? Descending, maybe just a slide of a fifth, and then filling it in. You can even then fill it in more with 5-note scale, right? So we could do ah, ah, right? And keep that legato and that freedom going into the sung material. And as we're doing this, of course, if the sigh ends up being more breathy, okay, that's not as useful to us. So see if you can find a sigh or slide feeling that has a little cleaner tone for yourself. Play around with it and see if you can bring that feeling into your singing. So I hope this was helpful. I'm excited to hear how it goes for you. Let me know in the comments what your questions are for returning to your singing practice after this COVID time away, and I'll address it in a future video. I'm here all month for the month of May, offering some practices for you to help you in that journey. Bye.